From North Carolina is recognized for 3 minutes.
Let me thank you, Mr. Pallone, for yielding time, and especially thank you for your leadership on our committee. It has been nothing less than extraordinary. Mr. Speaker, I rise today in strong opposition to the Exchange Information Disclosure Act. This bill would cost millions of dollars of limited federal resources, but doesn't include any mechanism for paying for it. It is an unnecessary piece of legislation that will have no impact or benefit to the American people. It is just the latest attempt by the Republican majority to incite fear and distrust of the federal health insurance marketplace and discredit President Obama and the Affordable Care Act. Washington Post columnist Greg Sargent wrote that the Exchange Information Disclosure Act is a political attack coming from a party that wants to see the law fail. The House has voted 47 times, Mr. Speaker, on bills that would repeal or undermine the Affordable Care Act, but not one of them has become law. My friend, Mr. Terry's bill that we are considering today marks the 48th attempt and is another nail in the coffin of haphazard Republican efforts to disenfranchise the American people by chipping away at the Affordable Care Act with the ultimate goal of taking away Americans' access to affordable health care. Make no mistake, this bill is not about transparency and open government. Its true purpose is to pile on more and more unnecessary, cumbersome, and unprecedented requirements so that HHS will be forced to focus time and attention away from managing the federal health insurance marketplace and redirect it to complete. I am particularly disappointed in the committee process, or more accurately, the lack of committee process with regard to this bill. The Energy and Commerce, the committee that I sit on, the Health Subcommittee. At no point did the chairman of the subcommittee nor the full committee hold a legislative hearing or markup on this bill. I don't recall one. Surely adding mountains of onerous reporting requirements that will cost the government millions in order to comply would have warranted an opportunity for members to weigh in before it was brought to the floor. Apparently, the chairman of the committee felt differently. This bill is now the 48th example of House Republicans pandering to their base by ramming through partisan policies that attack the president. The bill would require HHS to supply Congress weekly reports detailing the number of unique website visitors to healthcare.gov, the number of chat logins, and the number of enrollees by zip code and their level of coverage and other data sets. What exactly my friends hope to accomplish with this weekly data dump still escapes me. Perhaps House Republicans weren't aware of the extensive disclosure of data on health insurance enrollments that is already being provided on a monthly basis. The administration releases enrollment data monthly, Mr. Speaker, just like they do with Medicare and CHIP and other federal programs. May I have one additional minute?
Speaker yields the gentleman additional minute.
Gentleman's recognized for 1 additional minute.
Thank you. The monthly HHS enrollment reports are excellent, detailed reports. Weekly reports will shed no more light on enrollment in the health exchange than would weekly reports, the monthly reports. The bill also demands that HHS make publicly available a list of Navigator grantees. Were my colleagues unaware that the department released the entire list of Navigator grantees back in October? I have those here for your inspection. I will say it again, this bill is completely unnecessary. It is Republican fear-mongering. The fact is, Mr. Speaker, the Affordable Care Act is the law of the land. I ask my colleagues to embrace it. It's benefiting millions of Americans in my district and in your district as well. I thank you for the time, Mr. Pallone. I yield back.
The gentleman yields back. The gentleman from New Jersey reserves. The gentleman from Pennsylvania is recognized.
Mr. Speaker, at this time I'm pleased to yield 3 minutes to the prime sponsor of the legislation, gentleman from Nebraska, Mr. Terry.